Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 115 of Petey's Awesome Guest Panel. Now, before we introduce tonight's iconic, legendary voice actor guest star here tonight, I want to introduce tonight's co-host for this evening. First off, we got Michael Brandon.
Brogdon.
Pardon me, sorry about that, sir.
It's okay. How's it going, everyone?
It's always good to see you again, Michael.
Always. It's always a pleasure to be here.
And of course, we got my dear friend, longtime friend, Christopher Petey.
Heyo.
Chris, love seeing you, buddy. All right. Before I introduce tonight's guest star, I just want to read this gentleman's accolades, though. This man is not only one of the greatest voice actors of all time, ranked by many websites, including the IMDb, but this man was also an award-winning voice actor, as he won the 2013 Behind the Voice Actor Award for Best Vocal Ensemble in a Video Game for Kingdom Hearts 3D. And he's a man I've been a fan of for many, many, many years. My guest at this time is the legendary Mr. Richard Epcar. Richard, how are you today, sir? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic.
How are you doing? I don't know why I can't hear anything. Anyway, yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
We're doing great.
Good.
We're going to dive right into the questions. And one of this is going to be a typical cliche question. And that is, how and when did you get your first big break and or start into voice acting? Take us there.
Okay. Well, it started many, many, many moons ago. I came out to LA to be an on-camera actor. I did a lot of TV and soaps and some movies and that sort of thing. And my girlfriend at the time, Ellen Stern, who's my wife, we've been together for 43 years, if you believe that. I'm married for 41. And I'm only 35, so I'm not sure how that happened. But anyway, I never was good at math. So anyway, she was doing a movie and they needed some voice replacement in one of the other movies they were doing. And they asked her to come and audition. She said, "Can I bring my boyfriend?" who was me at the time. And they said, "Sure." And I went in there and I auditioned for it. And the guy said, "Have you done this before?" I said, "Yeah, I've done it a million times. I never did it before in my life." And I got the job, and I got the lead in this movie, replaced this guy's voice. And this company really liked me and had me do a bunch of other jobs after that. And then from there, I got into Robotech, which became a big anime sensation on network television. So that's kind of how the whole thing happened. And I have not stopped working since then. I've done over 1,200 characters in games, animation, and anime.
Incredible journey, sir. Chris, your question?
Hang on a second.
I have a question. Is Chris on a boat? Because your thing keeps... I need Dramamine, Chris, for God's sakes.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just like doing this off my phone and...
No worries.
Anyway. So are there any methods or preparations you do for your voiceover role?
I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of jump in and do it. The biggest thing that helps me when I go and do these jobs is if I can see a picture of the character. If I can see a picture of the character, then I can imagine what this character sounds like. So that's always helpful. Sometimes we don't get a picture. Sometimes we just get a explanation of what the character looks like or sounds like, and we try to follow that. And then hopefully, if all is lost, you have to rely on your director to kind of help you with all that stuff. So.
Okay. Michael, your question?
Okay, first off, I'm just going to say I am a huge fan. I play Kingdom Hearts all the time.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, now my question is this.
See, Michael's got a nice chair. He's got better than all of us. He's got a better chair.
This is actually my headboard.
I like that. Oh, all right. It looks more comfortable than what we're all sitting on. So
my question is this: do you prefer playing the villain or the hero?
That's a very good question. I prefer playing both. I love playing the villain because it's a lot of fun. You usually get to chew the scenery and be a bad guy. But I do like playing the hero. I do like saving the day and being the guy who stands up against the evil and all that sort of thing. So it's really fun to do both. They're both really fun. And if you have a script that's well written, then it's always nice to be a part of that. It really boils down to the script. If you have a good script, it doesn't matter who you play if it's well written.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to say that kind of makes you a bit of a rarity because a lot of the guests we have on here, or most of them enjoy playing villains. Some of them enjoy playing heroes, but even rarer is it that they enjoy playing both.
Well, I like doing both.
I definitely gotta say, Mr. Epcar, like you mentioned playing villains though, and you played many in the Power Rangers series, and me and Michael are huge fans of Power Rangers.
Yes.
We just wanted to get your memories on working on the Power Rangers series because you worked on all of them. You worked on Zeo, Turbo, Time Force, Mighty Morphin, Wild Force.
I did. That's pretty good. You remember it more than I do. I did about 40 of the villain voices, the crazy character voices. We had a kind of a group of us that we kind of rotated and around and did all the different the monster voices in Power Rangers. And I also co-directed the ADR on that show, so it was kind of nice when Scotty or David wasn't available, and I would come in and I would direct the on-camera stuff. So the ADR. So it was fun. It was a fun experience. We had a lot of fun. We were all good friends. We are all good friends to this day. Those of us who worked on that show, and some of us started out together, like in Robotech, like I said, and then we did other shows. But there was a core of us who are still doing voiceover to this very day that started out on Power Rangers and did a lot of that stuff, and did a lot of the different shows at Saban. We did. There was another show we call Eagle Riders and Technoman.
Yeah, Technoman.
I did
VR Troopers.
That one. VR Troopers was another
Beetleborgs.
one. Beetleborgs was another one. So we did a bunch of those shows. I was on all those shows, and I did, like I said, I did some of the writing for the shows. I did some of the directing for the shows. It just depends on what shows it was. We did a lot of stuff for Saban back in the day. Yeah.
Mike actually had a follow-up question to the question I had. So go ahead, Mike. Ask the question.
Okay. This is just me, like from a Kingdom Hearts fan.
Yes.
Because did you feel like an immense pressure when voicing Ansem?
No, because honestly, when I first went in to go, I know Bill Zane did the first Kingdom Hearts, but I've actually done 8 of them since then. So he's done 1, I've done 8, and when I went in to do Kingdom Hearts 2, I believe was the first one I went in for. I knew nothing about the game. I knew nothing about his portrayal of it. I knew nothing about any of that stuff. So once again, you kind of have to rely on the director. There's kind of a funny story. If we got a quick 2 minutes, I'll tell you. When I first went in for Kingdom Hearts, now the reason I got cast in Kingdom Hearts, by the way, and as I said earlier, I've done over 1,200 characters, but I can count on one hand the times that I was cast without an audition. And this was one of those times. And the reason I was cast for this was because Billy Zane decided he was not coming back, or they decided they did not want him back, whatever the reason was. He wasn't coming back, and they had to replace him. Well, the guy that does Ansem in Japan also does the voice of Batou in Ghost in the Shell. So the Japanese producers said, who does the voice of Batou in America? And they said, Richard Epcar. So they just hired me to come in and do it. So I went in and to do the job, actually, and we were recording, and there was 6 Japanese producers in the booth and 6 Disney producers in the booth. And I would do one line, and the engineer would come on the talk back and go, just a minute. And they would talk amongst themselves for 5 minutes. And they'd come back and say, can you do this a little faster? And I said, okay. And I did a little faster. And they come back on the talk back and say, just a minute. And they would talk amongst themselves for like 5 minutes and come back and say, can you do this a little slower? So this went on like all day long. And I thought I was going to jump off a cliff by the end of it. And finally, we had a break, and I took the engineer aside. I said, how did Christopher Lee put up with this? He said, oh, they did it to him one time, and he said, all right, I'm going to tell you how we're going to do this. I'm going to read this script from the top to the bottom, and then I'm going home. And I thought, how cool is that, right?
That is awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, after that, they kind of left me alone after the first one I did. And then, like I said, I've done 8 of them since then. So I've done a few.
Including Kingdom Hearts 3?
Including Kingdom Hearts 3, yes. So I've done 8 of them. There's a lot of little games that they did in between those. So anyway, hopefully they'll have me back. I know Ansem is kind of gone off to the void somewhere. It's no spoiler alert, but anyway, hopefully hopefully they'll bring me back. I'm still Terra Xehanort in the game, and so hopefully he'll come back, and maybe Ansem will come back in a flashback or dream sequence or something like that. Who knows?
Okay, cool.
It's open.
And you know, Kingdom Hearts is one of the major franchises you were part of. Another major franchise you were part of was Mortal Kombat, and this is going to lead to Chris's next question. Chris, take it away.
Oh, my next question was actually regarding Ansem, but
no, we'll do Mortal Kombat because we just want.
Anyway, yeah. Memories working on Mortal Kombat as Raiden.
Yes. Do I remember that? Yes, I've been doing it for 15 years. Yes,
so yeah, what were some of your memories?
Well, I had a great time auditioning for it. I remember the first game I auditioned for that whole thing was Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, and I went in and they basically had me read all the Mortal Kombat characters and all of the DC Universe characters, and DC was on the horn, Warner Brothers was on the horn, NetherRealm Studios was on the horn. Those are the guys that produced the games. And I got to read all those characters, and it was really fun. It was the most fun audition I think I've ever had. It was like being a kid in a candy shop to do all those characters. And at the end of it, the casting director, Bridget Burdine, who sadly is not with us anymore, she was a great lady and brought me in for a lot of projects. But anyway, she said to me, they love you for everything. What would you like to do? And they never asked the actor what they like to do because it's up to the producer or the directors. But anyway, they asked me what I wanted to do. And I said, I love the Joker. The Joker, when I did the Joker, I've never really rehearsed it or tried to do it. It just kind of came out of me with the laugh and everything. Just the whole
Wait,
thing.
You did the Joker?
Wow.
Yes,
I did the Joker and I did Raiden in Mortal Kombat and in Injustice, Gods Among Us. So anyway, when I did all that, she said, what character you want? And I said, I love doing the Joker and I love doing Raiden. And literally a day or two later, they called and booked me for both those characters. And I've been doing them ever since. So it's been a lot of fun. Those are great characters. I love being part of, that franchise. And I love doing those characters. They're two of my favorite characters.
Well, you mentioned characters too. And one question I wanted to ask you too, like going back to Power Rangers, though, you voiced many characters on Power Rangers. Did you have a favorite monster that you voiced?
It was honestly, it was kind of a long time ago, and I mean, I remember there was some guy with a bowling ball. I bet that's about it.
Bowling org.
Yes, bowling org. And like I say, I've done so many characters. It's just hard to remember everybody and all their different incarnations, but it was fun. We just, like I said, we had a lot of fun doing those shows, and we laughed a lot, and they were kind of silly, so we had a lot of fun doing them.
Well, one of my favorites was definitely Bowling Org, but another one of my favorites was Shell Shock, and that was the monster that had like the street lights like on his back. And I say that because I myself have a turtle.
Ah, nice. Very nice.
I miss my turtles.
Yeah, I love my turtles. Another question I have for you, and I ask every voice actor / actor this question, and that is the raw emotion question. And that is, I'm going to put you in a scenario, Mr. Epcar. Like, say that you were doing a scene, and in this scene, you're with a co-star, and then you have to get into this heated argument, and then your co-star comes up to you and says, I know this is going to sound weird, but I had an idea to enhance this scene for us. I need you to lambast me so hard that you can make me cry in frustration. If you were approached with this type of method, what would you say to that said co-star, and how would you react to it?
Well, I would, it's not really up to the co-star. It's really up to the director. If the director wants me to do something like that, I would absolutely do that. It just, those are things that directors make those choices. And, honestly, we don't really record with other actors generally. The only time I've really recorded in a group like that was when I did Legend of Korra. And that we did it the old time fashion way, where we had what I call a radio record, where we sit in a group and we record it. Like that's the way they used to do old time animation, when you record in a group like a radio play, and then they animate to those tracks. But generally you don't really interact with, I could see that happening in an on-camera situation where an actor would come up and say, hey, do this, but let's try this. And that happens sometimes, but generally it's really the director's call on that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Michael, your next question?
Okay, my next question is this. Do you prefer live action or do you prefer animation or not animation, voiceover?
I like it all. I really like it all. The thing about the games and the animation is it's kind of a heightened reality. It's just a little bigger than life, so it's kind of closer to stage acting, really. The other stuff when you do the like movies and things like that and replace people's voices, it's kind of fun because it's very natural, it's very real, and you get to be very realistic, and it's very akin to film acting. So I like them both. I like it all. I'm very lucky. I get to do a wide variety of stuff, and I like it that way because then I don't get bored that easily. So I can do a lot of different things, and it keeps me interested. It keeps me going. So it's always fun to do that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're the best at it. You're definitely
Oh,
one of the
thank
greatest
you.
voice actors of all time. I meant what I said in that introduction.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Oh, Chris, before you ask your next question, I just got to ask Mr. Epcar.
Yeah.
Mr. Epcar, I saw you like in a YouTube video like that you did one of the Morphicons in Pasadena, I believe. Are you going to be attending next year's Morphicon in Pasadena?
I at Morphicon. If I was, it wasn't. It was a while ago. I think it was actually before the pandemic. I was in Morphicon. You know what? If people invite me, I go. I don't know that I was invited to be at Morphicon this year.
I think I think Morphicon is next year in 2024.
Okay. No one has reached out to invite me, but if somebody would invite me to that, I would absolutely probably go. That's
Morphicon, if you're watching.
Yeah. But my wife and I do a lot of conventions around the country and around the world sometimes, and but we have to be invited. I think the fans don't understand that aspect of it. So if you want me to appear at a con near you, then the best thing to do is to hit up the con and just say, hey, we'd love to see Richard Epcar at the con or whatever, and then they'll reach out and invite us to come.
Michael, we got to get on that.
Oh,
where are you guys at? Where are you guys all at?
We're in New York.
Yeah.
You're all in New York?
Well, not all of us. I'm actually in El Paso, Texas.
Okay, you're in Texas. And Peter, you're in New York?
Yes, sir. Brooklyn, New York.
And Chris is in New York?
No, I'm in
you're in Texas. I'm sorry. Michael. Is it Michael?
Yes, I'm in New York also.
You're in New York. Okay. All right. Well, I did a couple of years ago, I did the Anime New York.
Anime NYC?
Yes. And it was a great, we did a whole loop-on thing, which was fantastic. And I would love to return there. So if you guys want to, request me to go back there, I would absolutely go back to New York. I love that convention. We had a great time there.
Definitely.
I would love to meet you in person one day.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you will.
Yes. Chris, your question?
Memories. What were some of your memories working on the Batman Unlimited series as Commissioner Gordon?
Listen, anytime I can do anything with Batman, I love it. I'm a huge Batman fan. I love Batman. Playing any character in that universe is really cool. To play Commissioner Gordon is really cool. I got to direct Arkham Origins, co-direct that, and I got to play a bunch of characters in that. I got to play the Joker in several games. I got to play Solomon Grundy in another series for a Batman series. So I just love being part of that Batman universe. And I actually met Bob Kane a million years ago, which was kind of weird. But my wife and I were having some videos edited at this place, and he happened to be there. And we're talking to him, and he said, Richard, you know what the secret to succeeding in show business is? I said, no, what is it? Mr. Kane. He said, well, you got to come up with a character like Batman. I said, oh, okay, I'll remember that. like that's an easy thing to do, just come up with a character like Batman that's beloved by everybody and the millions of people love him, and that's easy, right?
What was your favorite portrayal of the Joker? Like, you mentioned playing the Joker because you had like Cesar Romero, you had Joaquin Phoenix, Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson.
I thought they all did a really incredible job. I thought Heath Ledger really kind of brought a real fresh spin to that character. I thought he was very different. I thought Jack Nicholson did a great job, but I feel like he was kind of Jack Nicholson on steroids, you know. But but I thought he did a great job. I thought all those guys, and honestly, the guy that I saw first was Cesar Romero. It's interesting you mentioned him. I saw him obviously on the old Batman series when I was a kid, and that's probably the thing that was kind of in my subconscious, to be honest with you, that I came up with. I don't think that I'm trying to sound like anybody when I do it. When I first started doing the Joker, a lot of people said, "Oh, you're trying to sound like Mark Hamill," and the thing is, to this day, I've never heard Mark's Joker. And
Really?
I said this on social media, and actually Mark came on and said, "Well, I've heard yours, and it's wonderful." And I thought, "Wow, that's very nice and of him to do that." But honestly, no real actor is going to try to play another actor playing a character. You just don't do that. You go in and you play the character. You're not playing an actor playing the character. That would be not a very good actor that would do that. So I just try to become the character. I don't try to play it as another actor playing it. So that was kind of a weird thing that they accused me of. And apparently, I guess we came to it from a similar place, because I guess our Jokers do sound similar in certain ways. But
Hey, I'll go ahead and say this. Yeah, Mark Hamill ultimately retires the character, and it really does never play him again. You, sir, are the best one to fill the role.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, if you only were in a position to cast me in that would be wonderful.
We got to make those positions, guys.
Just fall down. Somebody fell down over there. Anyway, yeah, go
Um, I had a question too, like, and I ask every, this is our gag question we ask every time we have a guest star on the show. Whenever I'm not on a strict military like diet, I mean, there was times I would fast until dinner time, where I would just hold off. I am an absolute foodie, and I know you worked on so many voiceover production companies. I was just curious to know which one had the best catering scene, and what was your favorite meal in catering?
Well, when we do voiceover, they really don't cater. They don't do anything for you. When you do on camera, they do. I remember the best one was it's kind of weird, but it was Helltown with it was Robert Blake was his show, and we had steak and lobster every day for lunch, so that was pretty good. It doesn't get much better than that. But then you're with a guy who, supposedly killed his wife, so I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. But anyway. We'll never know. I guess we'll never know the truth on that one. But no, I've and also I'm a huge fan of breakfast burritos. And honestly, I was introduced to breakfast burritos on the set when I would go and shoot live action stuff. When I was go and do movies and TV shows, they would have catering, and they were doing the breakfast burritos before it became popular and restaurants started serving them. But these catering companies for the movie companies used to make these breakfast burritos, and they were just great. And I became hooked on them. I love them. So anyway, I hope that answers your question.
It does, and bless your heart, because I love breakfast burritos myself, especially if they're a cheese omelet one.
There you go. They're great. They're really great.
We have a couple more questions before we wrap up.
Sure.
So, Chris, your final comment or question for Mr. Epcar?
I mean, honestly, I would have liked to have touched on your experience working on Ghost in the Shell as Bato. But yeah, rather than that, I'd like to know what teachings or important lessons you've learned from your years in voice acting.
Well, I've learned that the most important thing is that that a lot of people don't realize is that we don't get to see the script until we go into the booth. So I think a lot of people don't realize that, and you have to basically cold read a performance. So my advice to anyone who wants to do this kind of work is A, become the best actor you can be, because it's really important to be a good actor. But B, you want to be able to read out loud very, very easily, and be able to grab a script and make it come alive and not sound like you're reading. So those are two skills that you really, really need to have if you want to any kind of a career in this business. I think I've been doing this for, like I say, 40 years now. So I'm pretty good at all these things, and I'm able to really jump in and do it pretty easily, because I have a lot of experience, and I've honed these skills. But yeah, anybody who wants to do this kind of work, that would be my advice to you. Just become the best actor you can be. Do as much stuff as you can. Do theater. Do radio. Do cold reading. Do whatever you can to get out there, and then read out loud every day. If you have any issue with reading, cold reading, read out loud every day a little bit, maybe 10 minutes a day, just to get it, so that you can just jump in the booth and do it and not screw up. Because if you go in the booth and you're not see, bless you, it's true. If you go in the booth and you're not ready, they won't ask you back. You'll have blown it. And so you want to make sure you're competitive and you're good and you're confident and competent to go in there and do a good job. So that would be my advice.
Inspirational words from one of the best.
Thank you.
Michael, your final comments and/or question?
But can you give us a little bit of rating? Just a little bit.
Thunder, take you. I must confer with the elder gods.
Oh my gosh.
That made your day, Michael?
Yeah, that just made my day.
Nobody asked about Joseph Joestar. No Joseph Joestar fans?
Yeah, I'm actually a bit of a Joseph Joestar fan. In fact,
Oh my God! How's that? There's one for you. And then the Joker.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, that made my day.
This made my day too, brother. I have a quickie question before I ask a major question. Mr. Epcar, when I was watching an auto commentary episode of Simpsons, and there was one where they said that Kirk Douglas, when he was doing voiceover work for the show, he hated using headphones because it hurt his ears. As a voice actor, I was curious to know, do you prefer wearing the headphones on or off? I can see you're wearing them right now.
Well, you can see this is the way I wear them in booth. It's really interesting. I always wear one on my ear, and then I wear one off of my ear. And the reason I do that is because I want to be able to hear the way my voice sounds without going through the microphone. So sometimes you need to hear what's going on in the scene, or you need to hear another character you're acting with or whatever. But I can hear my voice so one ear is covered, one ear isn't. And there are some phones like that in studios. You'll get where you'll have it and you'll just have one headphone.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it was. Like I went to go record a song with a friend of mine. I always have one headphone here and one headphone out, so that way I can hear myself.
Yeah. That's interesting. Kirk Douglas had a problem with headphones. I mean, this is the thing you get into, and I've also, I don't know if you guys know this, but I direct a lot of this stuff too.
Yes.
And I've had to direct a lot of celebrities, and there's a lot of them. Some of them are good, some of them are very good, but there's some of them that just, this isn't their deal. This isn't the thing that they're good at. And so for them, it's kind of like a fish out of water. And there's a lot of actors that are film actors, and they're acting with their eyes because they're used to doing camera, and so they're not doing the character with their voice. And the thing that you have to realize is that the microphone just picks up your voice. It doesn't pick up your eyes. It doesn't pick up your subtle reactions or any of that stuff. It has to be through your voice. That's how you have to create your character. So I find that sometimes when you have film and TV actors in there, it's kind of like pulling teeth sometimes to get them to get up to the level where they need to be. And that's why I say it's more heightened reality than it is naturalistic. And when you're doing film, you want to be very natural and real. But when you're doing voiceover, particularly on a game, and you have to be this big, powerful character, it's a little bigger than life. You know what I mean? So. And some of them have a hard time doing that, but
it's hit or miss, basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it can be, and like I say, some are very, very good, but some are. It's like a whole different thing to them. It's like taking someone who's a dancer, and that person can do ballet, but they can't do something else. They can't do kabuki dancing, let's say, or it's a different style.
The final question I have for you is, what's next for Richard Epcar? Now, this is a part of the show, Mr. Epcar. It's an open forum. You can talk about, promote, hype, anything you want. I'm passing the proverbial microphone to you. The floor is yours, Mr. Epcar.
Well, I wish I had some conventions to promote. I think I've hit the last convention of the year. I think I've got some I've got some. Let me look on my phone here. I've got some nice conventions coming up, actually. That if you guys want to check
We
it
gotta
out.
get you. We gotta get you to either New York Comic Con or Anime NYC.
Yes, please do that. I would love that very much. Let me see what I got here. I don't think I have anything in December, except for jury duty, which I don't want to do. But so
Yeah, it was really.
so the first month of the new year, January, the week of the 19th.
Hey, that's my birthday.
Is it the January
January
19th?
5th is my birthday.
Mine is the 25th of January.
Okay. Well, January, right around your birthdays, I'm going to be at OhioCon in Ohio on the 19th, 20th, and 21st. So if you guys are around Ohio, I'm going to be over there. And then let's see what else I got going. Pensacon. You guys heard of Pensacon in Florida?
Yes.
I'm going to be there February 23rd through the 25th. I'll be in Pensacon. And like I said, I don't have a ton of stuff. In March, I'm going to be in, this is the 2024, of course, March 22nd through the 24th. I'll be in Zenkai Con in what is that? Pennsylvania. So yeah, so if you guys are in Pennsylvania, it'll be fun. And then after that, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. In May, I'm going to be in Europe. So that's that. But hopefully I'll have a few more, and hopefully you guys can get me over to New York again. I would love to come back to New York and Anime New York or New York Comic Con, either one of those places. It would be great.
Definitely.
Mike, we got to do that. And we just have a couple of final things we just want to say before we wrap up, though, our final comments. Chris, final comments for Mr. Epcar.
Well, thank you for having so much voice work. That's definitely been part of my childhood, because hell, I actually am old enough to remember Robotech. And yeah, as far back as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series, at least that's the one I followed most.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It really was, wasn't it?
You were the
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, and also being part of Ghost in the Shell, also being part of Loop on the Third, and yeah, of course, Kingdom Hearts. Hell, a whole lot of animes and a whole lot of games I played.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very similar to another actor we had on the show, Greg Berger. You, sir, helped shape my childhood, and I appreciate you for it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate their comments. I appreciate that.
Michael, final comments?
Honestly, thank you for making my childhood, especially when it came to Kingdom Hearts. Thank you for making it a good childhood.
My pleasure.
I'm pretty much gonna just mirror what these gentlemen said, and I'm just gonna say, first of all, thank you for not only an amazing interview, Mr. Epcar. I want to thank you for those memories you gave me as a child, watching Power Rangers, watching Beetleborgs, watching Digimon. Like I watched like all this, and you're just one of the best. And you know what? I'm gonna say this too. Like you have this incredible gift where you can take a 30-something-year-old fan and bring him way down here and make him feel like that 5-year-old watching Power Rangers again. And
oh, that's sweet. That's very sweet. Thank you.
And anytime, sir. And I hope one day we can meet. And I'm gonna send you a copy of this interview as soon as I'm done editing it.
I love it. Yeah. Throw it up on all my pages. Put the link on it.
You got it. And one last thing before we conclude, I waited a long time to do this, and I feel like you deserve it. And that is, thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Richard. Have an awesome night, sir. It was such an amazing time having you. And
thank you.
God bless you, sir.
God bless you guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. And be well and be safe out there. We live in a crazy world right now, and just be careful out there.
You too, sir.
All the best.
Thank
all
you.
the best, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Till the next time.
Till next time.
Till the next time.